Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Years old and making $500,000 from the streets before even becoming a serious rapper.
Man, trap boy. I started calling myself trap boy when I was 14. Got my first spot.
Well, how much money do you think you accumulated over the years by hustling?
I would have saved all the little down there had about $500,000 by now.
I just want some money, baby, so right now I can't be sexual. Let me check my schedule. I gotta work.
YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. You know the vibes. Get your 30RY.com. That's where you go get it at. You know how all the videos go. You feel me? We're gonna catch our flight. Good gases only. Loot Boy Meaty said that. Shout out to the cloud service for sponsoring this video. Yeah, man. Alright, now we done got that out the way. The final hours of MO3's best friend, RoyLee. If you see from the intro, that's when I was on Twitch. I did first half, I did an hour stream of me watching, I forget the title, but it's about MO3. Trap Lil Ross did it. I got Patreon on the Patreon. I'm reacting from his Patreon. So it's the uncut version on Twitch. I just did all that for nothing. Uncut version on Twitch, you feel me? I reacted. It's still up. I'm doing part 2 probably later tonight, for real. I ain't gonna lie to you. So that's gonna be up. Go check that out. Let's get into this video, man. Final hours of RoyLee.
Dallas police are looking for a killer after a comedian died weeks after being shot.
We all got the call. We was at the club like, hey, man, Roy got to get rushed to the hospital, man.
And even when I had spoke to him,
I ain't gonna lie, I was shocked because he was slowly blowing up, and he was funny as shit. So I was like,
June
damn.
24, 2017. An
Like,
interview
like,
on Real Life Productions. YouTube
sometimes you forget, like, all right, because that person's a comedian. Like, comedians don't beef type shit. You know what I'm saying? Let alone with a rapper. So like, yeah,
Premiered with Dallas, Texas comedian.
I mean, maybe it has
RoyLee
happened. I just
Pate.
ain't been aware.
That would eventually lead to him losing his life. As the camera was locked on RoyLee, who at the floor, he uttered the statement, "Come on, you from Oak Cliff, America. Come F with us. Till you come on up so we can rob you. Cause you ain't really from over here, right?"
I'm telling you, y'all gotta go watch. You gotta go watch that Trap Lil Ross video. You gotta go watch it.
RoyLee was drawing
telling
reference
you,
to a particular rapper
all
in
that's
question,
on there.
who went by the name
Go watch that Twitch. You put that link in the description. Go watch that, man. I'm telling you.
In the previous interview, Yella Beezy would have claimed he was from Oak Cliff.
And it's on some chill shit. And the Twitch on some chill shit. I don't even got the green screen set up. This is on some chill shit. I got my little LED cloud jiffy. We just kicking it for real, smoking. You feel me? Doing what we do. Just, you feel me? Late night situation. Pull up, man.
Y'all see what this my city, man. Y'all already know what it is, man. Oak Cliff, America, said that meat that stand on that, man, for real.
From RoyLee's perspective, he wasn't simply going to let what
Matter of
he
fact,
believed
I'm
was
gonna put that motherfucker right here. I'm gonna put it right above right now. The tag gonna pop up. You can click that link. You feel me? And then yeah.
I be told. But there was one other factor that influenced his decision to speak publicly, exposing Yella Beezy. There was a bit of a rift between Yella Beezy and another Dallas, Texas rapper by the name of Melvin Noble,
This bitch hit.
also known as Mo3.
Lord,
Now,
Jesus, fire.
Mo3 and RoyLee were like best friends. They had a brotherly bond, always joking around and supporting the other.
Yeah, I had to do it, Mo3.
You can watch that video again. You can watch that video, and they gonna tell you, you feel me, how their friendship came about and all that. Man, come on, pull up. Well, the first hour was already up. Pull up. This ain't an hour. The first hour is up. Pull up on there.
Paper, and I always took them noodles, and it was all on me.
RoyLee was a stand-up guy, and just as Mo.
Here's one thing you need to do before buying anything
What you need to do
Don't
is
spend it.
you need to pull up on that motherfucking Twitch.
What?
3 would have his back.
Pull up over there.
He also stuck
Pull
up
up
for
on
Mo3. That was his extra incentive for speaking on Yella Beezy.
You understand me? You don't count. That's why I heard it me, because with Mo3 and other rappers said they wasn't from where they from, but Mo3 went to these schools in North Dallas. You understand me?
Those statements would escalate the already building feud between the rappers. But now, RoyLee had a target on his back. and would soon be ambushed for his words. That reality would become true in less than 2 months after the interview. Rival Yella Beezy would find RoyLee and have him jumped by his entourage. As recounted by RoyLee, he was at the King of Diamonds club where the incident happened. Yella Beezy would swing with the punch, but luckily, RoyLee saw the incoming blow from the side of his eye and was able to dodge the impact. However, that did not deter Yella Beezy from carrying out his intentions. Instead, he allegedly had his entourage then attack RoyLee, inflicting a blow to the back of the head.
And he tried to sneak me. And shit, I got jumped a little bit by his partner and him, but he ain't hit me, so that's why I want to fight a one-on-one.
It was at that moment that RoyLee came to know Yella Beezy held a grudge over a statement in the interview that insinuated he was a liar about where he was from. Although no footage of the incident has been spread, there is one source where footage of RoyLee fighting in another club of the same type show him being surrounded by a group. Just in this case, the first punch was thrown by him. Viewers who came across the rare clip speculate this may be the footage of the incident, but Yella Beezy cannot be made out in the clip, and it contradicts the story of him being ambushed, so maybe it's of another incident. After his altercation with Yella Beezy, RoyLee further pushed the boundaries of issues that stemmed from his interview and the ambush of him at the club. He was adamant about getting his fair chance to redeem his honor, or as the street culture would say, get his lick back.
There you go. There you go.
The good way. Because I'm getting my lick back one day. I'm getting my lick back.
To get what he felt like he deserved after being ambushed and outnumbered. RoyLee count out Yella Beezy to a one-on-one fight where both of them put up a cash amount of $8,000 and used their hands instead of guns, with no one else involved but just them. RoyLee grew more and more aggressive in getting his opportunity at a fair fight. When no response from Yella Beezy came, he began reciting the very thing that sparked the feud between them both. Even more, RoyLee started taunting Yella Beezy about being robbed 2 times in the city because he's not from where he said he's from.
You got robbed in the police? You got robbed, you the only rapper I know that got robbed twice. They ain't did nothing to now one of them.
He was making every attempt to get under Yella Beezy's skin, to do right by him and have a fair fight. That included name calling, like the Pink Panther and Yellow Belly.
So you waiting on a fight with who? The Pink Man, Pink Panther, whatever y'all want to call him, man.
The more Lee pushed, the more his rivals were behind the scenes plotting on taking his life. RoyLee made the mistake of assuming the lack of response to his pressing of the matter meant that no one was listening, but someone was.
Yeah.
Still, RoyLee wasn't backing down or putting the feud to rest until he got his fight. And he made it his mission to bring up the problem between him and Yella Beezy every chance he had to get his request for a fair fight answered. RoyLee would return to the same platform, Real Life Productions, with another interview that aired on YouTube on November 3rd, 2017. But this time, things began escalating beyond conversation of simply fighting. RoyLee appeared to be frustrated with what seemed to him like cowardice from Yella Beezy. In a moment of agitation, RoyLee let it be known that while he was not trying to pick up a gun to settle their grievances, he can also go that route and find grandmothers and mothers as Yella Beezy appeared not about fighting, but shooting.
But you don't want to fight because you ain't got nothing from here. I'm talking about from here. I ain't talking about from here. That's easy. Yeah, nigga, I just got out of jail.
Things would go down a dark road. Something that began as what most civilians would consider simple. Someone like Yella Beezy and RoyLee that came up among gang culture and vice-ridden environments took it as a sign of disrespect that needed answering for. No matter how much RoyLee tried, even getting on a 3-way call with the proposition to fight, Yella Beezy turned down the request. A couple months would pass. RoyLee would again be a guest on the platform Real Life Productions.
Low key, he was
From
really,
a January
really pushing.
24th, 2018 aired interview. On the stage, he also had with him his two nephews, one who was pursuing a career in rapping, and the other had the skills of a boxer. They would break down how the altercation went at the club, as they were there when it happened. The real story had a few more details. The main one being that RoyLee, who was a frequent drinker, was drunk on the night and initiated the confrontation when he was questioning patrons if they were there with Yella Beezy, as he was looking for.
Want to become an amazing content creator? You should use motion arrays, templates, motion effects. Of course, you don't have to.
Yella Beezy would catch wind of the commotion and sneak around RoyLee with the punch he dodged. After which, his nephew claimed about 9 persons of Yella Beezy's entourage was attacking RoyLee after knocking him to the ground, and that was when they stepped in and got him out of there. Even though it was an unfair ambush, from the new account of what transpired that night, RoyLee's lack of judgment from being drunk was at the root of the problem, instigating things more than it needed to be.
Do you think this all could have been avoided if RoyLee just quit drinking so much?
It could have. Right, you got a point right there.
RoyLee was a comedian, yes, but he was raised around the street culture, engaged in criminal activities, and served jail time. So he still moved with a sense of danger that even deterred previous security personnel from being his bodyguard.
Nah, security guard told me that. Security guard told me that because when we go to V-Line, and then we was getting into people, he said, man, I don't think I can be your bodyguard. You doing too much.
It was all fun and games, but someone was looking on, unimpressed with anger in their heart towards RoyLee. All the while, persons like his nephew was trying to advise him to just let the feud go and forgive. But RoyLee insisted that if the fight doesn't happen, then nothing can be forgiven. But maybe that was the error in RoyLee's decision that placed him in harm's way. September 25th, 2018, the beginning of the end was set into motion when RoyLee was shot. Lying in a hospital bed, he broke down what happened that night. At around 7:50 p.m., RoyLee was now about to leave from the parking lot of Texaco on Preston Road after grabbing something to eat at one of his favorite barbecue spots. His shooter was likely tailing him and monitoring his whereabouts from Shell's location right across the street. RoyLee would glimpse a figure approaching, and when he looked up, all he could see was a person in a hoodie before the shooting rang out. 3 shots were fired, with one hitting him in the leg, breaking the bone. RoyLee underwent surgery, and after a few days was released from the hospital. He was back in good spirits, arguing with a friend tied into the gang culture about calling the police and not him after he was shot. From his post to his Facebook account, it seemed like RoyLee had a new appreciation for life and was ready to bury the hatchet with his past feuds. He nearly lost his life, and as all things appeared, he dodged a bullet while at the same time receiving one. He went on to continue doing shows over the next week and some days. October 12, 2018, RoyLee was scheduled to perform at a stand-up comedy show at Heritage Hall, Paris, Texas. He would go live on Facebook, driving on his way to the event, happy, smiling, and listening to music, having a good time. Lee appeared back, and better than ever, but that's what made the news that came next so tragic. RoyLee had a great show, but it would be his last. It was like fate already knew it was his time and allowed him one last show as a send-off, because the show was on Friday, and Saturday, news broke that RoyLee passed away from complications to the shooting he sustained weeks earlier. His complications led to him developing a blood clot in his lungs before he could undergo the surgery he had scheduled the following day to rectify the issue. He passed. RoyLee was so close to surviving, but things didn't turn out that way.
He didn't die in the hospital. He got out the hospital. He got back on, he started moving around. He was back doing his shows and shit. I'm taking his medicine, got a blood clot.
His passing shook up the entire community, but the one whose life was forever damaged by his passing was his best friend turned brother, MO3, who fell into dark times.
So how did that affect you when he passed away?
Fucked me up. Still can't believe my nigga dead. You know, he's a comedian.
RoyLee's passing ignited the feud between Mo3 and Yella Beezy even more.
This shit escalated when RoyLee passed. RoyLee just wanted to have a one-on-one fight with Yella Beezy.
Ultimately, Yella Beezy would be targeted by rivals, being shot 4 times.
How many times were you shot? Like 4 times?
Unfortunately, Mo3 was also shot, but unlike his rival Yella Beezy, he didn't survive his wounds. Such a sad tale of lives lost to a cycle that seems to never end. Rest in peace, RoyLee Pate.
Like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Appreciate y'all being here. We out.
Okay, cook an Asian egg roll to put my people on. Yeah, don't stand too close, gon' get my cover blown. I know I'm down by myself, that's why I come alone. You know, this ain't the same ice, I got bigger stones. Okay, you probably feel tough cause you